I bought a business, I built a restaurant, everything was going great. Then overnight, poof, it burned to the ground. We lost everything. Follow us on our journey because we're gonna build back something spectacular. But first I need to talk to a few friends, Jason Aldean, Kid Rock, Dirk Bentley. We're gonna visit their restaurants in Nashville, Tennessee. Here we go. All right guys, well we had one heck of a trip last week going to Nashville. I had a great time. I don't know about you guys.
It was great. Yeah, it was wonderful.
So of course the point of the trip was to go down. We're thinking with our restaurant, we're gonna need multiple floors. You know, one of the things that we dealt with before was having one floor of a restaurant, and we had two different types of crowds. We had kind of the rowdy golf crowd, and then we had kind of the family dining crowd. And there were just times where the two would meet specifically on Sunday afternoons.
Right.
So the guys go out and start golfing, and then they come in after they're done to eat lunch, have a few beers, you know, on top of the few beers they've had before they got there. And they're great. They're having tons of fun, and it's a great atmosphere. But then in rolls the church crowd coming in after church with the family. And you know, the guys were terrific about this because there were several times where they said, man, Dave, we're trying to be laid back a little bit here, not cuss so much because there's kids around coming in after church. So they were totally nice about it, but they kept saying, you know, if there's a way we could fix this. And unfortunately, I guess in the long run, the fix to it is to burn the building down. What's up with that? But, you know, it's one of the things that we can improve on going forward. So, gosh, what are some of the places that we saw? Let's see, Jason Aldean restaurant.
Yeah.
Jump in there. What'd you all think about it? What did you?
Oh, that was fantastic. The multi-levels and how they just functioned was amazing to me. Because that's one thing that makes me nervous about multiple floors. But they had it all down to a science, so I'm glad we got to see it firsthand.
Yeah, I agree. And with the multiple levels in Nashville, it's kind of needed because as they get really busy, they just open up additional floors. So right. We would go into some restaurants and all floors would be there, but maybe only two are open.
Yeah.
And so as it would get busy, of course we were there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and on the weekend, you know, they're gonna be super busy, so they're gonna have everything rocking. But specifically at Jason Aldean's, what did you see as far as the kitchen, and what are they doing with the food to get it from one level to the next?
So at Jason Aldean's, they're using food runners and not the elevator to transport the food. So these guys are running the food up the steps.
Wow.
And that is a job. That is a job.
Yeah.
But that is the only restaurant that used just the stair method. They did not use their elevator for transportation.
Yeah. So what's some of the other restaurants we saw? Let's see, Kid Rock was another one. Was that 4 floors?
It was 4. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what did you guys see with that one?
So they had the whole floor was their kitchen, and we actually got to peek into that. But they use their elevators, and they have 4 dumbwaiters that they use for food only.
Okay.
So they have a room that's just dumbwaiters and the server station, which was really neat to see. But then their elevator transport their runners or handicapped guests, but guests could use those elevators. But yeah, it was just a neat thing to see the dumbwaiter room. I mean, they had a dumbwaiter from every floor. Now,
was that in the kitchen? The
No.
dumbwaiter?
So yeah, every floor had the dumbwaiter room.
Okay.
And then they had one dumbwaiter that would go to every floor. So that way they could keep their kitchen straight, that it goes to this floor, they put it in this dumbwaiter. They go to this floor, they put it in that dumbwaiter. That's how they kept theirs straight.
Okay, so each dumbwaiter was designated at one floor?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
At that restaurant, yes.
Yeah, it's probably just because of the year that was built, I would imagine.
I'd say.
The new ones
yeah,
are
because
just
that's
like
a newer
elevators.
one. You know, that's a newer. It's a newer restaurant down there, so they probably have seen other restaurants who maybe struggle to keep the order straight on multiple floors with one dumbwaiter and thought, well, that'll solve that problem. Each floor will have their own one.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so that was Kid Rock. Now, was that the one that the kitchen was in the basement?
Yes, yes, that's the one with the kitchen.
Yeah,
in
we
the
kind
basement,
of
the
yeah
whole
we
floor.
snuck down there.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's see, where else did we go? There was Dirk's Bentley Whiskey Row. And what were they doing with food there?
So their dumbwaiter was actually just used for transportation of like paper goods and stuff to dry stock to each floor, because the staff was telling me that they could not like get it right, their timing and stuff. So that is just solely used for that. Their elevator is not open to their guests unless it's handicapped. So their guests had to climb the flights of steps, and that they transported their food on the elevator.
Okay. Was there any other place we visited? Seems like I'm leaving one out.
We went to that Honky Tonk Central.
Oh yeah, the Honky Tonk Central.
That's a big one too.
Yeah, and we had a server there that was really informative. And so what did she end up saying, and what did we see there?
They actually had two kitchens there. The one kitchen was closed, and they only opened it for huge events when they host them in Nashville because it warranted it. They used their elevator and food runners. So they just solely, their food runners just take care of their orders, and the elevator transports everything.
Okay.
Then the diner. They told us about the diner there.
Yeah, the diner, owned by the same people, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
6 floors.
Yep.
And the kitchen was on what floor?
3rd floor.
And what did they do with their food there?
So they used dumbwaiters for their food. And there were 6 floors, but it was actually a smaller footprint once you looked at the floors. But they used the dumbwaiter, and they had a dumbwaiter room with the server station inside there.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, going forward, I kind of envision maybe 3 floors. So we have kind of a bar restaurant on the 1st floor that's probably attached to the kitchen. And then above that, we probably have something like a family dining, so we can keep the 2 groups separate. And separate means that they're happy, you know. And then a top floor where we have a full stage set up and have a band playing on Saturday nights, and maybe rehearsal dinners on Friday nights, and special events and things like that during the week. So maybe that's the floor for us that's not always open, but when it is open, you know, we're running a dumbwaiter or an elevator up there. So what would you see as kind of the perfect scenario in the kitchen if you're sending food to the other 2 floors?
My perfect scenario would be a staff elevator and dumbwaiter, and then a guest elevator to keep those completely separate, moving up and down the building. That way we're out of their way. That would be ideal, but.
Well, let's talk about that a second. Do you think we really need a dumbwaiter, or do we just take it on the elevator?
Oh, we
that's
could
in the
totally
kitchen?
take it on the elevator, as long as it's staff designated and
Yeah.
it's not with the guests.
Right.
Right.
We'd need that separation. So 2 elevators would be great.
Yeah,
It
and
would be great.
we can do that with the flow of traffic and signage. We can separate those 2 to make sure people understand that this is staff use only, and the other elevators over there.
Yeah.
Right.
Rachel, when you look at Nashville, I know you're a big fan of Nashville. You've been there many times.
Yep.
And you look at the food service and how they handle things. I mean, in your wildest dreams, do you think we can make like a little Nashville here?
I think so. I mean, obviously a way smaller scale, but Nashville, like you said, it's gotten so busy that their only option is to build up. You know,
Yeah.
they can't add, there's only so much room on Broadway, and that's where all the bars are. So they're building up because that's their only option. So, you know, they're making it work. And like you said, sometimes they have, you know, a couple of floors closed or whatever if they're not that busy. And I like that idea because I think it's a good way to, you know, your staffing. You can control staffing if your top floor isn't open all the time, or, you know, whatever. And it's also a good way to like have private events and that kind of stuff, which we saw when we were down there. You know, we
Yeah.
went to that Garth Brooks
Yeah.
bar, and we were outside on the top floor, and it was like 6 o'clock at night, and they brought everybody in and closed that area off because they were getting ready to have a private event. So I think at a place like this where we, you know, we do host private events, not all the time, but we do, to have a space where we can do that and it still be connected and make you feel like, you know, you're still a part of everything is a great idea.
Well, and you know, destination, it's really interesting. So if we take a place like Nashville, where it has a certain flavor to it, obviously country music, it's where all these guys, these stars put their bars and their restaurants. Destination means that you're able to and wanting to jump in your car and drive so many hours away to go to a certain place because it's so interesting. So some of the major, I guess, ideas, major examples of destination would be like Las Vegas. So Las Vegas, gambling, the casinos, all that kind of stuff. People are willing to literally fly from anywhere in the world to go to Las Vegas. It's a huge destination. Another destination would be maybe New Orleans, Bourbon Street, Memphis with Beale Street. So there's a lot of them, and Nashville's a destination. So if we look at a mini destination, and that's kind of what I see maybe building here, we're not pulling people in from 4 hours away or 6 hours away to come to our location. Maybe, but maybe we are, you know. There could be getting into the camper business, the RV business. It could be that this is one of the nicer ones for 4 to 6 hours away. But I'm thinking maybe along the lines more restaurant, since that's what we're talking about today, and entertainment, what we saw in Nashville. This very well could be a place that you drive an hour away to come to, or maybe 2 hours.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, so we're pulling from a bigger footprint, a bigger marketplace. The key, of course, is marketing, so that somebody that's an hour away, 2 hours away, they know what it is, and they need to be able to feel a little bit of that online. So before they get here, they want to know what to expect when they get here. They don't want to drive an hour, 2 hours, and they get here and they're not happy with it.
Right.
So I think we're on to something. What do you guys think?
Oh, absolutely. I can't wait to see how this turns out.
Yeah, this is awesome. All right, well, let's get to work. So that's what we saw in Nashville, some pretty cool stuff. So what I want you to do is follow us along and see how we take all this information. We go out and we do these field trips and we come back and we're going to talk to some designers and some consultants to get their ideas. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a recipe that we put together, we mix it up, and we're going to come out with something that's spectacular, that's just ours. Follow along.